Topic of this video is children in karate training, developing body and mind, scientific approach to training a child athlete, and it is really a concept of total skill development. It is presented from the coach point of view, and in this video we only will address punching techniques. There are the punching techniques are heart and soul of Karate Do. No other fighting art developed punching techniques to the level of perfection as it is done in karate. And this is not just an accident. Karate is a fighting art. 13 of them are executed with one hand and 4 of them are two-handed punches. If we look at 17 punches, but if we look karate as a self-defense, there are the 54 blocks. That means that karate is, yes, it is fighting art, but it's more self-defense than just the art of attacking. 5 stages of total skill, in this case punching techniques development. Stage 1, learn. Acquire biomechanics of skill. Stage 2, develop. Improve functional skill. Stage 3, evaluate. Assess progress in learning. Stage 4, correct. Identify what needs to be changed. And stage 5, improve. Implement a new plan of action to correct major problem. Same 5 steps are approach in using for all other techniques throughout the book. Now, again, in this stage 1 of learning punching techniques. Learning begins with the slow moving techniques, which are called ramp techniques and are controlled by the brain cortex and subcortical area. Basal ganglia are part of the subcortical area of brain involved in this learning. The role of gene and DNA in the training cannot and should not be neglected. It's very important. Epigene is a part of gene which constantly is changing. Epigene will change when a person exercises, drinks, smoke, or use drugs. That is the reason that same person, because of action of epigene, respond in different way to the same type of training when done before and after engaging in such an action. Now, the brain cortex, again in process of learning, play a major role in learning advanced skills during the training. The brain cortex, together with the cerebellum, is responsible for the execution of fast, or we call the ballistic movement. Part of brain involved in this type of training is the precentral gyrus of frontal lobe, postcentral gyrus of parietal lobe, visual cortex of the occipital lobe, in auditory center and central long-term memory of temporal lobe. Repetition of technique is the main stimulus for such a learning. Now, if we look how do we learn punching techniques, this is stage 1. First, explanation of task. This is done by karate instructor. Students need to know what he or she will do. So clearly outline purpose of task to be learned. Task must be appropriate to the level of student's ability, not to push too much. Sufficient prerequisites are necessary to perform skill. Very important. All questions must be answered. Students need to know exactly what is expected from him or her. Need to know clearly what to do. Demonstration of task or technique 10 to 20 times by the instructor is necessary for students to see what needs to be done. Just showing once is not enough. We don't see all the intricate part of technique. The most important part from explanation of task, clearly outline purpose of task, sufficient prerequisite must exist, and demonstrate task about 10 to 20 times so students know exactly what to do. Again, in stage 1, next step is learning of biomechanics. This is done by beginner student. Technique is executed in stepwise fashion. Initially, speed is slow to moderate, that means involve the cortex and basal ganglia. Correction and adjustments of techniques are made immediately. Any mistake is corrected. Repetition of techniques from about 500 times to 1,000 times is a part of this initial learning. Correcting technique is the most important stimulus at this level of learning or training. Now, most important part from this learning of biomechanics is the speed of techniques need to be slow to moderate, correct mistake immediately, repetition of techniques 500 to 1,000 times under the strict supervision of instructor must be done. Next stage, stage 2 is to develop. Now we are developing certain things. As stated before, after some time, execution of technique will move control from the basal ganglia to the cerebellum, and that means the technique becomes faster. Training for children need to develop all bioperformance parameters that are age-specific to a young people. And what is that? Number 1, flexibility. Number 2, acrobatic coordination. And in addition to that, to push to develop what is on the next bioperformance parameter, and that is speed. And this is the next one to pick in the line. If we look punching techniques or any other techniques, and if we look inherent flexibility, we can say that peak only 75% around the age of 10 years and begin to decline after age of 15. This means that is that inherent 75%, and up to the 100%, that is a part that we can develop as an influence of training. So inherent acrobatic coordination, peak, again, inherent 75%, not 100%. 100% you must earn, you must train. This peak around the age of 15 years and begin to decline already around the age of 20 years. Now, next parameter, inherent speed, again 75%. I'm repeating this all the time because we need to realize, regardless how fast you are, that's only 75% of your maximum ability. This will peak around the age of 23 years and begin to decline 26 years of age. Again, it is a next parameter that need to be supported. You always support what next is coming. Now, to develop trunk rotation. Trunk rotation is integral part of any punching technique and as such need to be developed. Very simple method. Athlete put a target meat between the upper arm and the trunk and try to punch as fast as possible. Rotate the trunk, and if target flies far out and a little bit in on opposite side, that's a good trunk rotation. To develop a degree of concentration, another important parameter, especially for children. Instructor will put different color balloons and will call color balloon and athlete respond by punching as fast as possible. That shows degree of concentration on athlete's part. To develop biomechanics of techniques, equipment that is appropriate to the athlete's age, level of skill need to be used. We should not hurt, we should develop. Using elastic tubing to develop one- and two-handed punches is such an example. Biomechanics need to be kept to be proper. Now, another way to develop components of technique is X-ray film, and may be used to develop a speed of technique and how technique is performed, and that is done effectively and safely. There is no chance to be hurt by punching X-ray film. Blocker may be used to develop timing of punch, together with the position of the arm, shoulder, trunk, and neck muscle during the punching. Punching skill, focus, and precision of punch may be developed very effectively using two-frame window tool foam made out of, for a safety reason, out of foam. This type of practice will cause no damage to the athlete and will serve as a good visual feedback. Alligator jaw, that is two blockers that are hitting each other and punches executed in between that hitting each other blockers. Changing rhythm of snapping creates a greater degree of challenge to punch. Bell that moves presents a challenge to punch a target and not to be hit. Again, here we need both skill, concentration, and a lot of things are put in action considering this is done with the young people. Now, next stage is evaluation. Whatever we do, every once in a while we need to evaluate. Here, evaluation for only punching techniques is shown, but all other techniques are done in the same way. You have a scale from 5, what is superior, to 2 that need improvement, and you just check what is happening with the particular punch. Then the evaluation is necessary to determine what needs to be done with the selected techniques, where we are going forward. Plan of action that includes biomechanics of techniques need to be evaluated. Any mistake need to be corrected. Use of equipment. Do we need to put more resistance? Or what's going on? And application of techniques, either in range sparring or in kata, all these need to be implemented in the next training cycle. So here a reader will have a chance to look how athlete is performing specific tasks. Here is the case number 6. A reader will have a chance in his own way to assess concentration of athlete. This is a major information is given. Male athlete, 7 years old, practice karate an average of 2 times per week for recreation reason, white belt. So reader have a chance to see sets of the techniques and to form its own judgment. Now, following that, same athlete is performed another task. This is in case study number 7, but here is a biomechanic. Again, it's the same athlete, and reader will look and form its own conclusion. Now, next step is, now reader will compare its own assessment together with the author's recommendation. So here in concentration, the objective was to hit a specific color balloon, as it is called by the instructor. The important objective for age 7 to 9 years of age would be to develop trunk and body rotation, as well as to continue to develop body and space awareness. As evident, these objectives are achieved. So what will be a recommendation of author that reader need to compare its own suggestion? Recommendation here is not to change anything. Punching against the designated color balloon is executed with a good focus, concentration, and timing together with the proper space awareness and good skill. So, athlete is doing well. Now, case study number 7. Here we are assessing biomechanics. So again, reader compare its own analysis with one done by the author. The use of elastic tubing as a workload in developing punching technique has really three objectives. One is to demonstrate shoulder flexion. Number two, to keep the proper rhythm of punching techniques. And number three, to maintain good body posture. Reader is really able to evaluate only third good body posture effectively. Shoulders are relaxed and the proper stance is executed as the punch is being executed as well to the chest level. So now reader compare with author's recommendation. What author recommend? Again, not to change anything and to continue to practice as presented here. Proper resistance together with a number of repetition of punching techniques need to be followed to develop desired part of the skill. Now, number 4, to improve. In this case, punching technique that we evaluate. Once mistakes are identified, the process of the new training cycle should start, but this time with a higher level of intensity and the form compared with the one done before. And we are going from the beginning to the end. Again, athletes will learn, develop, evaluate, correct, and improve, and so on. And that is how training is progressing. Material presented here come from the book Children in Karate Training, Developing Body and Mind. This presentation is just one single drop of water in the ocean of knowledge of karate. Us!